Another night, another dominating performance from the best in the West. The puff out your chest best in the West Denver Nuggets. They won again tonight against the Los Angeles Clippers. They were without MVP frontrunner Nikola Jokic tonight. And it was a highly impressive victory. And I think a lot of times when I'm looking at games that I want to talk about, games I want to watch, evaluate, and break down, sometimes the superstar sitting out allows you to really see the other pieces around that guy. Because when you watch the Nuggets, you know Nikola Jokic is great. But sometimes you want to see the greatness of those players around him, the Aaron Gordon, the Jamal Murray, the Michael Porter Jr., Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Bruce Brown. All these guys, you want to see how they've developed, how they're looking, how Jamal's recovering from his injury, all those sorts of things. And that's why I think there's so much value in watching teams without their star players and breaking them down. So we watched the Denver Nuggets tonight win 115-103. This is actually the second time that they beat the Clippers in the last week or week and a half. And the Clippers were a team that many people were picking to come out of the Western Conference. And at this point, I think it's time to say that the Denver Nuggets are the favorites in the Western Conference. Now, I broke them down a couple times in a couple other videos, so if you want to hear me break down the Denver Nuggets in some other videos, I talked about their season as a whole. Watch those because I think we really get into some of the numbers, some of the things that make them good. Tonight, I want to look more at this particular game and some of the stars here on this Denver Nuggets team. Before we get into the game, though, please take a second to like and subscribe to the channel. We are at almost 800 subscribers. That's so cool, so awesome. We're on the road to 1,000, so if you could please hit that little button, help your boy out, costs you nothing. And it helps me tremendously, so I would appreciate it. But let's talk about this game. So tonight, the Denver Nuggets got 24 points from Jamal Murray, 22 points from Michael Porter Jr., 17 from Aaron Gordon, 14 from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. They also got 9 from Bruce Brown, 9 from Najee, 7 from Bones Hyland, and 8 from DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan actually played very well tonight, kind of gave them a nice little spark. Now, the thing you got to remember is that Nikola Jokic is number 1 in the entire NBA in plus minus. He's at 404 for the season, which is mind-boggling, which is about 10 points more than Jason Tatum, who's number 2. And the Nuggets have 3 of the top 6 guys in plus minus. What's that mean? That means that they're winning games, and when they win them pretty convincingly, and they don't lose games by a lot of points. When you're talking about this Nuggets team and the playoffs, I really want to dig into why I'm so high on the Denver Nuggets. When you're looking at the way they play basketball, they have a center of the offense in Nikola Jokic that has the ability to see the entire court. When you're in the half-court offense, even his full-court passes are great too, but in the half-court, this is a guy that has the ability to make a pass to anywhere on the court. A lot of guys, when you see in the NBA, they are all right passers. What they'll do is they'll drive to the basket, and they typically either kick to one of the corners. Those are your easiest passes for the most part. And then you have guys who will do a little screen and roll, are really good at throwing the lob. Nikola Jokic threw a pass a couple nights ago where he had 2 guys on him and wrapped it around to hit the driving cutter. He also has the ability to hit both wings, the guy up top, and both corners. So you're talking about a guy that can pass anywhere and see anything on the court. And why do I bring that up on a night he didn't play? This is why it is so valuable to have elite three-point shooting around Nikola Jokic. And the Denver Nuggets lead the NBA in three-point percentage. Now, they shoot a pretty low volume of three-point shots. What does this tell you? Mike Malone, as a coach, has this team taking good shots, taking good looks, and, when you are you're not forcing three-pointers when they're not there. And a lot of teams in the NBA will do that. When you look at a team like the Atlanta Hawks with Trae Young will shoot a ton of three-pointers, but he's shooting them at like a 30% clip. So that really analytically doesn't add up to where you want to be. The Denver Nuggets, they take quality three-point shots. And that's really, really important. When we're talking about the playoffs expose your weaknesses. What the playoffs are going to do is a team's going to game plan for you for 7 games. And they have the ability to look at what you do really well or what you do really poorly and attack that specifically. The thing about the Denver Nuggets is they are able to beat you in so many ways. Why is that? Because Jamal Murray can shoot in the mid-range, can take the ball to the basket. We saw a 360 layup against Rudy Gobert a couple years ago. Can shoot from the three ball. Michael Porter Jr., long, lanky, can take the ball to the basket, can shoot in the mid-range, shoots 40% from the three-point line. Nikola Jokic can take you down to the post. He can shoot from the three ball. He can run the offense. He can shoot a little fadeaway from mid-range as well. Aaron Gordon is a great slasher. He plays so well off of Nikola Jokic. When you look at Aaron Gordon's stats, and I want to pull these up real quick, Aaron Gordon has really taken a massive step forward this year. And you attribute a lot of that to Jokic, but also Aaron Gordon deserves tremendous credit. He's averaging 16.5 points a game, which is not the most he's ever averaged in his career. 1 year in Orlando, he was 17.6. But the big difference is that year he shot 43% from the field, 33% from the three. This year, he's shooting 59% from the field, which is top 15 in the NBA, and he's shooting 37% from the three-point range on 4.6 a game. So this is a guy that's getting it done from all over the court, and he's an elite slasher. Last year, the Denver Nuggets were 2-6 without Nikola Jokic. Obviously, you had no Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr. was out for a lot of the year, and Aaron Gordon was starting his first full season there. They made a trade. They traded Monty Morris, brought back KCP, who's a quality basketball player, and I really like that trade for the Denver Nuggets. Talking about the playoffs again and exposing your weaknesses and going through some of those growing pains. The Denver Nuggets were able to make the Western Conference Finals a couple years ago when Michael Porter Jr. was very young. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray had never really had a real playoff run together. They didn't have Aaron Gordon at the time. They didn't have KCP at the time. So when they've been able to add all these players and all this talent, it really makes me believe that this Denver Nuggets team is able to take that next step in a Western Conference that has some quality basketball teams. It's certainly not going to be a cakewalk, and I'm not saying that they're just going to go and sweep the playoffs because you have teams. I don't count out the Warriors, and I did a video on the Warriors actually earlier tonight. I don't count out the Warriors at all, and I think they're going to be a tough play in the playoffs. I don't count out the Memphis Grizzlies. They're a very good basketball team, got some playoff experience last year. Pelicans have a lot of talent. They can stay healthy and on the court. Can the Suns get it together? I'm not super high on the Suns personally. It's never that easy beating Luka Doncic just because he's so great. But you have a big man averaging 25 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. When you look at some of the stars in NBA history, they struggled at certain points in their playoff career before they finally became a winner. And I think that's what's so interesting about Nikola Jokic. And we were talking about this MVP. There's a big narrative out there that Nikola Jokic can't win a third MVP before he wins a title. And what we've seen in the past is that a lot of great players, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Giannis Antetokounmpo, won MVP awards before they won titles because you could see the talent, you could see the production, you could see the impact they had on their team, but they experienced a lot of growing pains. Jason Tatum in the playoffs last year had 100 turnovers, the most of all time. And I'm not saying Tatum is as good as Jokic, but you're talking about the reality is these guys don't come into the league and start winning titles. That's not how the NBA works. The NBA is so talented because it's so globalized and it has so many guys that grow up wanting to play basketball and they play AAU basketball from 5 years old and they develop their game for the rest of their lives. So when you come into the NBA, you have to learn how to play in the NBA, then you got to learn how to win, then you got to learn how to win in the playoffs, which is that next step. And I think this year is the year that Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets take that step from a very quality regular season team to an NBA title contender. And I think obviously in the Eastern Conference, you got some juggernauts. You got the Boston Celtics, you got the Milwaukee Bucks, Brooklyn Nets are playing very well. So there's very good teams in both conferences. Does that mean that the Nuggets are clearly the overall favorites? I wouldn't quite say that yet because I think you got to give credit to a team like the Boston Celtics and Milwaukee Bucks. But in the Western Conference, I certainly believe the Denver Nuggets are right in that conversation. And before the season started, they were my preseason pick to make the NBA Finals. And it's because of the additions of Aaron Gordon, of KCP, and the things that they're adding. And honestly, Bones Hyland, man, guy's awesome. He didn't really do too much tonight, but he could score from anywhere. KCP is averaging 12 points a game. Bones Hyland 14, Michael Porter Jr. 16, Aaron Gordon 16.5, Jamal Murray 18, Bruce Brown 11, Jeff Green 7.5. So you got so many guys contributing to this team, and that's not even counting their young guys in Kankar. So the Denver Nuggets, I'm all in. Let me tell you right now, I am all in on the Denver Nuggets, and I believe that this is going to be one of my better predictions because I picked them to make the finals before the season started. And, the other thing I wanted to bring up real quick, Aaron Gordon's defense on Kawhi Leonard was exceptional. He made it very difficult for Kawhi Leonard tonight. And I just love this Nuggets team. I love watching them play. They play basketball the right way. They're able to ISO score. They're able to distribute the basketball. They assist at a high clip. They hit the 3 ball very, very efficiently. All around, awesome basketball team. Can't wait to watch more Denver Nuggets basketball. Appreciate y'all watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Sabro Gal.